And what I like to evaluate is, okay, we got back up above this 200 moving average on the hourly. That's a good sign. Got a lot more to go. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. I like to see what transpired the last couple of years. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. All right. So 2020, when the markets got rocked, and now we're trading below that even. I'm going to take a quick look at the fundamentals, see what is going on. I mean, there's definitely a lot of competition that's coming through. With NVIDIA on the rise. Alright, so there's definitely a big pullback in sales. You can see very clear from 79 billion to 63 billion to 54 billion. And I'm not saying they can't have a turnaround, because turnarounds are possible. Sometimes it's throw up some of these charts. Alright, so over here, damn. So last couple of quarters, they've been losing money too. Alright, let's take a quick look at AMD. This might not be the best stock to look at. Intel, so Intel, I'm not going to look at it for now, but let's take a quick look at AMD. Alright, we're still a series of higher highs and higher lows. Alright, so a slight pullback in sales, 2023. Let's take a quick on an annual basis. It's barely squeezing out a little bit of profit here. Quarterly basis, okay, at least they're positive. Net positive, I mean. And this would be a much better play. Price got back above this 200 moving average on the daily chart. So what I do, I start to run potential supports, symmetry supports. That's way too deep. Okay. So over here, what I usually do, I take my Fib retracements. Actually, I take my Fibonacci extensions and I walk it backwards. I like to see if there are other pullbacks in the history of this chart also similar. If I can't find it right away, I'm not going to look for it. Okay. There's just always a better chart to look at. Today I'm just going to spin through the Dow 30, give you guys an insight, real quick look into what I look for in the chart. Now we talked about Verizon before. This is something that I like, okay, for sure. We had a nice pullback into this pocket of potential support right around 38, and now we're moving back to the upside. This is a much slower moving stock. So taking a quick look, if you zoom out a little bit, before it was trading as high up, it's in the 60s. 2020 low was actually all the way up there. But from a fundamental basis, this chart is probably doing a lot better. Because people still use Verizon. A lot of people use Verizon. And I'm not sure if they branched out to other businesses, but okay. Alright, they've been flatlining their top line revenue, doing about 133 billion. 2022, 136, 133. Let's see how profitable they are. Okay, so they're right here at this, where they're not really growing this market, but this is a dividend paying stock. So they got to figure out a way to grow this business, but the last couple of years, you can see they haven't had that huge expansion to the upside, but the chart is a healthy looking chart from my perspective, because we had this downturn, right? Series of lower highs and lower lows. And now when price gets back up above this 200 moving average, you want to pay attention to this. And I highly recommend you guys look into this further. This is definitely more of a long-term play if you want to collect dividends, sell, and cover calls. Cisco, okay? Cisco over here. If it connects on these tops, we get to put together some trend lines on this chart. So what do we got here? Send to the right, okay? Let's see if they get back up above that trend line for Cisco. For Dow, this one I'm not really looking at. So we were holding this area here, but now it's traded below. Don't deal with it. It's trading below the 200 moving average. Even though Dow is a great looking chart, and I think fundamentally it's also doing quite well. So let's just take a quick look. I just look at a very broad perspective. I like to see if they're growing the business year over year, and I want to know if they're actually profitable. So there are a couple of rows that you can look. I will take a quick look at this row. Okay, so business is not growing. They had a pretty steep pullback in 2023. Net profits are still profitable. I don't know if they made a major purchase back in that year. But Wall Street likes to see this chart go up along with positive net income, right? So right now, don't deal with this until you can climb back up above the 200 moving average. So Coca-Cola, this is real interesting because it was able to bust up above this trend line. So if you want to trade this to the long side, you want to wait for a steeper pullback. I would not jump on this right away. Walmart, way too extended up these levels. So I'll be waiting for a pullback, a deep pullback. As you can also see on this chart, we have multiple gaps, right? So when you're looking for a deep pullback, you're looking for a pullback that can also fill some of these gaps. And you can just set yourself an alert, to make sure these pullbacks are actually filled before even taking a serious look. Now, Nike has been on a lot of people's radars, so let's take a quick look. I think last time I looked at Nike was actually doing quite well. So we got some lower lows here. That's not sexy, but we got lower highs and lower lows. But on the hourly chart, this is what I like. So price will first find some strength back above this 200 moving average on the hourly, and that's what we like. We like to see some strength, first of all, technically. And then I wanted to see if Nike is also performing strong. So on an annual basis, right? Year over year, okay. So it is still growing the business. 51 billion, 51, 2022, 46, 44. The top line revenue is still getting back up there and the company is profitable. I just don't think this company is going to go out of business anytime soon. I mean, there are competitors coming to the market. I was surprised that Crocs, they're doing, I think, $4 billion per year. And more people are buying these Crocs shoes. I don't particularly understand, but it is what it is. So Nike, Disney over here is trading below the 200 moving average. So over here it was looking great, right? But now it's pulled back. And now it's trading below the 200 moving average. I'm not dealing with this chart, but I still like to see if this chart is actually doing anything. Making like fundamentals, or they're making money. Oh wow, look at see, they're making a lot of money. From 2021, 67 billion, 2022. 82 billion. That's a huge jump, guys. 2023, 88 billion. And take a quick look at Disney. That's a lot of money, y'all. Okay. Over here, Maybe they're not squeezing out that much profits, but it's still over 2 billion. Company is paying out dividends. So just be patient with this chart. So what I do, I clear the drawing set, right? I clear the drawing set and I want to connect some lines. So maybe I use that pivot high and then I'm going to activate this drawing a little bit, make sure I grab the top as much best as I can. I'm doing these kind of fast. So extend to the right. All right. So over here, if we continue to print this higher low, eventually it's going to find its way back to the upside above that trend line. And when that happens, that's when I will be interested in deploying some capital. Over here, we had a gap up before, right? There was to fill this gap. And now we're looking to see if this oversold condition kind of just works itself out. So when price gets back up above, around this area, I'd like to be notified. Yeah. Merck, all right. So looking at this chart, it's still charting very nicely. So there's a higher highs and higher lows. If I were to work my Fibonacci extensions backwards, okay, I'm gonna find some symmetry supports along the way. So I will click on that pivot high, pivot low, walk it back. Okay, that's way too high. So I'm not gonna deal with this chart. 3M, all right. So this takes an example. What we gotta just be patient and wait for it to work out itself. 3M, series of lower highs and lower lows for a couple of years, and then it finds its way back up above the 200 moving average on the daily chart. Found a very shallow free price relationship here, but then it busts back to the upside. Okay, when charts, they can recover this $100, man, they're rushing to that 200, sometimes without that much of a pullback. Okay, so that's the reason why when you're dealing with the chart, it has this pattern. This pattern, a series of lower highs and lower lows. Nobody's talking about this. But when it begins to climb back itself back to the upside, okay, even over here, people are not paying attention. Over here, people are like, well, 3M is such a nice, beautiful stock, trading at $170. You want to be paying attention to this when it's around 90, 100. You guys understand? So let's take a quick look at 3M. So 3M, that's how it's doing over here. All right, they haven't had that much of a business growth the last couple of years. Also contracting. But I see the company is so profitable. Oh, it's a little bit messy now. Okay. So this may not be the greatest stock to hold on to. But if you're just trading with a small position sizing and it's got the technicals behind it, some people kind of just roll with it. Okay, Chevron, okay, trading below the 200 moving average. This one is finding some weakness now. Now, if I were to take a look at the XLE, okay, energy right now showing some signs of weakness, not really pushed back to the upside. So if you guys have any other stocks you want to look at, I'm just practicing, see if you guys, if you have questions or stocks, you can type in the symbol. Yeah, let me know if you guys are checking out my channel. I don't know. You can check out the channel before, been a follower. I usually just give out some trade recommendations or different stocks that may have great setups. And we identify some interesting ones. For example, I think we talked about CCI, okay? This is actually more than just real estate. This is more like infrastructure, where they put up cell towers and stuff. Very similar to American Tower. I like this stock because you can see this pattern, right? When it begins to find some strength back to the upside, nobody pays attention to this. Just like NVIDIA, everyone is raving about NVIDIA, but you can look at my videos before. I was looking to see this area here, series of lower highs and lower lows, and when it gets back up above the 200 moving average on the daily, that's when you got to pay attention. So what can you do right now to find stocks that are kind of like Nvidia? Maybe they're not making as many sales, but if you look at this dividends, right, they're paying over $1.50 every quarter. And I look at the fundamentals behind this, they're doing quite well. So I don't think this is a company that's going to go away anytime soon. Okay. What else do we talk about? We also just go through my different stocks. I already forgot what I said yesterday. I think I like to find different stocks that are kind of under the radar, right? So Lululemon, that's another one. Even though the technicals are not looking great, right? People are looking at the stock like, ugh, chart's looking very ugly. However, if you guys look at the fundamentals, you'll know Lululemon's actually doing very, very well, right? Years ago, when I visited their store, there was this yoga stuff, but now they are in so many different categories. I think even business casual, right? And over here, we have a series of higher highs and higher lows, and it will first begin demonstrating strength on the hourly chart. So this is a big test for Lululemon. I've identified this pocket of potential support right around 258, and now it's all about, okay, can we hold? Can we hold right here? If it doesn't, it's okay. You don't do anything with it. You don't add some more to the position. You don't trade it long. You just let it go. And that's how we go from decision to decision. Now, if it provides me with a trigger to go long, which means that we have an 8 moving average crossing against that 34 back to the upside, confirming strength, then you can take a stab at it going long with proper position sizing. Okay? And for something like this, it's not a royal setup, as Carolyn Broden would say, because it's not trading with the moving averages. A royal setup would be something that is above the 200 moving averages on both the hourly as well as the daily chart, if I remember correctly. Let's go through some more of these Dow stocks. Okay, so Boeing, series of lower highs and lower lows, guys. This could be a great setup to the downside. There's been a lot of negative press in Boeing. So let's take a quick look where people are still buying their airplanes. There are people that are coming out saying that, okay, there's some safety issues. All right, I'm pretty impressed. There's people still buying their airplanes. You know, 62, 66, 77, that's a lot of airplanes. And when you're having that growth, you just have to really tighten up your operating expense so you can actually show net profits. Oh, they are not making money. So over the last couple of years, even though they've been increasing their top line revenue, they have not been responsible. So over here, we may have more downside correction. That's all I'm saying. Johnson & Johnson. All right, so for something like this, series of lower highs and lower lows, this just reminds you of Coca-Cola. Can this thing get back up above this trend line? Procter's going to do well. Consumer staples, and I think a couple months back I also reviewed this chart. We had a pocket of potential support right around 154, okay, and it came back to retest. It did come back to retest, but it did hold. Let's just take a quick look on my channel real quick, so you guys are not just Procter & Gamble, April 26, 2024. So what was going on here? All right, April 24th. It was right here at this juncture I made the video. And what was before February 12th? February 12th, I made a video. April 24th, I made a video. You can see we held this pocket of potential support. Since then, continued to the upside. So when it does do a pullback, right? Now you can be like, I could expect a pullback pretty deep. May bring me back down to that 168 if I want to buy at a decent price, or it may be much deeper pullback, such as ones like this, brings me all the way back down to 165. But overall, Procter & Gamble, let's take a quick how they were doing with their fundamentals. Bam, I just don't think they're losing. Look at that. 2021, 76 billion, 2022, 80 billion, 2023, 82 billion, just steady increasing top line revenue. Okay. Net profits, net income's also positive. So I always like to look at a chart and put it up on the annual. And boom, where's my chart? I did something. Financials annual. Look at that. It's beautiful. We're making 84 billion, and then 14, close to 15 of it is profits, net income. Boy, boy, boy. And this thing is kind of trading at all-time high, so but this is buy and hold. If you want to buy and hold something, Amazon, these guys are definitely making money, no doubt. And over here is also trading nicely above the 200 moving average. So you gotta just wait for the next set of pullbacks, maybe a pullback against that 200 moving average again, if you want to add to more of your position. Honeywell, we've been in the sideways pattern for quite some time. I really don't know how to trade this. I mean, it could go either way, right? But Honeywell, let's take a quick look. How well are they doing? All right, over here, 34, okay, 35, 36. Also profitable, so that's a good sign. There are a lot of boring stocks under the radar doing quite well just because they're not showing up in the news. Now, the benefit of these Dow stocks is that, man, some of them, they just pay out great dividends, are very, very consistent. So you just hold on to it for the long haul. It's not really a capital gains play, because you can see over the last couple of years, it's been in this range, right? But even being in this range, there's a lot of money to be made, just about how you go about doing it. All right, JP Morgan Chase. And scroll back a little bit, also trading at very, very highs. And we do have a pocket pinch of support. I also reviewed this chart a couple days ago, as you guys can review it. And IBM also extended up at these levels. Now, I don't recommend just buying IBM at these levels, but let's take a quick look. How well are they performing on their fundamentals? Over here. All right, they're hovering right around 60 billion, but they are having some growth. Okay, 60 to 61. All right, they're gonna do fine. Oh my goodness. But this is not the place where you just want to go long, right? You want to look for a decent pullback. So if I were to use this pullback right here, I'm like, all right, can we bring this back down? Give me a better price, 185. And these pullbacks are becoming more and more volatile, where they're just getting steeper, right? Over here, doesn't match up either. So IBM, wait for a pullback. So do you have any questions for me? I'm looking at my stream. I haven't done these lives for a long time. Just kind of practicing with it. And yeah, that's how I go from decision to decision. I go through, spin through a lot of charts and travelers that played out very, very nicely. You guys can also check a quick look on my channel. Just type in TRV. I reviewed September 18th, 2024, also June 17th, 2024 July 17th. It was right here around that juncture, July, and pocket did hold over July 1st. July 1st right here. Since then, taking the upside. Wait for the next pullback. So thanks so much for watching this video. Leave a comment below, let me know what you think. And grab my program also in the descriptions. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.